Got to hit about 7 buttons to go all the places. Let's see. So we're live. Hey, everybody on YouTube and Facebook.
Wow. Very exciting.
Oh, I'm
It's
going
my
worldwide.
live debut.
This is your worldwide debut right now. We're everywhere but Instagram so far. And now we are, hopefully,
Okay. Yeah.
Instagram, because that's where all the influencers are on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's us. They're allowing 2 old dudes on Instagram right now. We're gonna sneak in on a Wednesday afternoon before they notice.
I'm a huge influencer. Yeah.
We don't do TikTok because they'd kick me off in a second because I can't.
No, I really don't do TikTok because I just feel that's not my place. No, that's not for me.
Because my Mallory does it all I hear is when she records them, it makes that goes doop 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 or something when they record them, and I'm just like, oh, there's another TikTok. But I don't even watch them because I'm just like, I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I don't get it.
I don't need another thing to. I don't need another thing to waste my time. I waste too much time on Twitter because that's where I get my sports.
Yeah. No, it is. That's the problem. It's all addictive, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's terrible. I don't go on Facebook. I mean, I gave that up, but
yeah.
But Twitter, man, it's all sports on Twitter. That's the only thing I watch is sports. But it's as bad as my baseball team is. It's great. It's a great entertainment. Hey, Alfred, what's going on, buddy? All right, so we are doing a European primetime special today. That's what I'm calling this.
It is primetime, yeah.
This is for Simon and for all of our friends over in Europe.
Yeah,
we got a primetime special or an afternoon. I'm not going to call it afternoon delight. That'd be terrible, but whatever. This is going to be a great show for everybody here in the States. It's almost like afternoon drive, like the old radio programs. So we are going to talk about Tim's trip to Yacht Club back in February. Yeah. Man, that picture you have in front of the tree is so awesome. Oh, and that's going to be here before you know it. That tree's going to be up again. I can't believe it.
I know.
Already Halloween. I mean, it's not Halloween, but it is at Disney. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's turning around.
Whew. Okay, so let us get going for Monday. So let me hit the button and we'll get recording. All right, let's see here. All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 2544 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you're having a great start to your week and settling in for another great school year. If you've gone back to school already, or maybe today is the first day of school in your community. And if it is, again, good luck in hitting the school, the books this year, and that it's a great school year for both teachers and students. And if you're out there on the roads making that commute, be careful for those kids making their way to and from school as they're just getting there probably excitedly, possibly first day of school. They got the new kicks on, the new duds. It's always an exciting time to get to see their friends again and find out who those teachers are and all that good stuff. I don't even know, dude, carrying the old lunch pail. I used to, have my Star Wars lunch pail one year, maybe E.T. I know I'm old, right? But that was always the good thing. You got the good stuff at the beginning of the school year. By October, everything was tore up. But, hope springs eternal in August and September. So great. Wishing everybody a great school year. Let's make it happen. But today, you're here for some fun Disney talk, and we're going to have a great time talking Disney. We're headed across the Atlantic Ocean again today. I love making our show international, getting all kinds of different perspectives today. Last week, we talked Tokyo. Today, we're talking Walt Disney World with a guest from over in the UK. Tim's joining us. Tim, how you doing today? Thanks for coming on the show.
Doing great, Mike. Thank you very much for having me on.
I am so glad to have you. And we've been having a good time in the pre-show, just kind of catching up. And so how are things? You're over in Southampton, that area of England. So how are things over there?
Things are pretty good. We've got a long weekend coming up. It's kind of like our Labor Day is this weekend. So that's nice. I've only got one more day of work to get through, and then I got 4 days off. So that's I'm looking forward to.
Now, our friend Simon, who, has his son Sully, who has become kind of a cult hero here on the Be Our Guest podcast. We need to get like a cartoon made of him or something, because kind of an unofficial mascot of our show at this point, because he, goes down to the pool and attracts young ladies because he's so.
Well, don't we all?
incredibly handsome. I mean, we try, we can't all be Sully.
Yeah.
But it must be that UK charm, I'm guessing, that folks like me just, Mike in the Midwest just does not possess. But he always mentions bank holidays that Simon gets off for. He doesn't know. He just wakes up one day and he's off work for a bank holiday that he has no idea why. Is that still the case for you, or do you understand the system?
It is true. They do come up on you. Actually, there is a Disney connection with bank holidays, because when I was younger, every bank holiday they used to have on TV a program called Disney Time. And so I used to like bank holidays because before, unfortunately, because I'm so old, that they just about had television, but they didn't have VCRs when I was really little. And so it was Disney Time was the only way that you could see clips from Disney movies, etc. So a bank holiday in the past actually had a real Disney significance.
That's super cool. And I was going to ask you about that connection being over the UK and kind of growing up, because again, it's probably a lot different for us that are here in the States. It was, I look back at my pictures from my second birthday, my third birthday. It was a Mickey Mouse cake that my mom made for me before I ever got to make a choice whether I was going to be a Disney fan or not. She put a Mickey Mouse on my cake. And so that was kind of culturally part of growing up. But is that the case for folks over in the UK in your, because I've asked this question of many folks from the UK, but what about in your circle of what you've seen?
I think particularly one way or another for me, absolutely. From a really early age, I was obsessed with all things Disney. And in particular, I've got a little example here. This here, so this comic here called Disneyland. So the world's best stories for boys and girls. And this one is from, I think this is from 1970. This is from 1970. And so it's like Disney stories. And and also it's got lovely illustrations. So when I was really little, this was what I read. I read Disneyland. That got me really excited about Disney. And in particular, when I was about 8, my sort of early obsession, I wrote to Disneyland. I don't know what I wrote. I wish I knew what I wrote. I wrote something probably in a scrawly handwriting saying, can you send me something? And then I forgot all about it. And then about a month or so later, I got an envelope through the post. And so this one, I'm 60, Mike. I'll be honest. I'll share. This is a notable but depressing year for me. And I got this package that came through the post. So this would have been probably about 1972. And it was all the California stamps and all the things and all they had sent me through just the marketing stuff. But I had the map. I had the map for Disneyland. I had this. And so right from that age, it became my sort of, my sort of elusive place that I wanted to go to then was Disneyland. So I don't think, everyone in your question was, is everyone in the UK like this? I don't, I am a special kind of weird person, but for me, it was, right from a very early age, it's this, wow, what a place, this map. I couldn't believe that someone could look as exciting as that. And that was back in 1972. So, yeah.
I love this. Because you had something tangible in your hand that you could relate to, that it existed. You had something, you were so far away, yet you had something tangible in your hand to look at, to study, to, really spark that imagination that if I turned left here, I'd be in Adventureland. And if I turned right here, I would be heading back towards Fantasyland. I could picture it.
It blew my mind.
It's to spark a young man's mind. Exactly. I was like that way. Again, we're, similar ages. Like, I would pull out an encyclopedia and just, if I would be engrossed with a certain subject and just, that was like the spark to just get that imagination firing, and kind of the same thing. So, well, I want to make sure, because we could talk about this all day and not even get into the trip. Well, you did make your way over. And before we get into this trip, which I want to talk about heading over to the Yacht Club earlier this year, but you've made it over many times, visited Disneyland and Walt Disney World. So tell us just some of the highlights, like maybe first time over and just.
Yeah, very happy to, and shut me up if I'm going on. No, I think my first trip was 1988, And I was lucky with my job that we had a client that we needed to go and visit in America. And we were working in Boston, and we had a spare weekend. And then a bunch of us who were working on the job said, oh, what should we do? Oh, let's go down to Orlando. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And so we went down to Orlando and stayed in some really quite nasty motel on International Drive, and went to the Magic Kingdom. Fabulous. I mean, that's just a dream come true. But in some ways, what really turned me was on the Sunday. And on the Sunday, admittedly, on the Saturday night, we had a bit of a night out in Church Street Station. And quite a few of my colleagues didn't quite make Sunday morning that earlier after the Church Street Station experience, but I did. And we went to Epcot. I didn't really know what Epcot was. I couldn't believe it. What I particularly couldn't believe, my jaw sort of hit the floor and was bouncing along the floor, was particularly, I remember the Living Seas. It is called the Living Seas, isn't it? But
amazingly, it still kind of is. I mean, the Living Seas with Nemo, but
yeah, no, but was it? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Now, back then it was just.
But when I went in there, and you went in there, and then you went down in those elevators,
the hydrolators back then. Yeah,
and it's like, oh my God, I used to love Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, and it's like, this is for real. I was speechless. So yeah, Epcot blew my mind, and I just thought it's the most magical place. And when I got back home, because I was only there for a couple of days, when I got back home, I said to Helen, who unfortunately is Mrs. Is now for her and my wife. I said to her, we gotta go. And so we went the next year, and so it went. So yeah, and for a while, I was also lucky enough to live out in California, so I went to Disneyland a few times as well. But then, when we got two kids, we basically went for about a 10-year period. Just went about more or less every year. And it's fabulous. I mean, it's just the best place. It's just the best place to go. It's the best place for a vacation. We used to love flying into. We didn't used to fly into Orlando so much because it was a bit cheaper. The flights were cheaper to go into Miami. But then when you drive up from Miami, and we normally stayed halfway, somewhere on the beach, halfway in some sort of motel. And it's warm and it's humid, and you've got the sea outside, and you're going to Disney World. It's just, it's the most magical thing.
It's so funny because a lot of Americans are trying to avoid the warm and the humid. They're like, oh, if it only wasn't so warm and so humid. But you love it because you're from the UK. That's awesome. Let me ask you one other thing. You mentioned the missus, and is she and in your family, are they as Disney obsessed, or is such? Do they have the passion like you? Because sometimes,
I think they do. I think it's become, I mean, my son Miles is 26, and my daughter Beatrice is very soon 21, and they, they would think they're very sophisticated and adult, etc. But they still absolutely, their heart, I think, is very much still in Disney World, and all the times and all the good laughs that we had, because we went there last Christmas 2018, and so we had Christmas there, and it was great. And particularly Helen, she is obsessed as I am, and it's we should be getting medical treatment for it, but but unfortunately but here I am. I'm just indulging it by talking to you about it.
That's what we do. That's why we have a podcast. That's what my wife told me, 16 and a half years ago when this show started. Funny. She's like, you should go down and talk into a microphone and stop talking to me, because you just keep telling me about Disney. And hence we have 2,500 episodes. And I found people that love to talk about this stuff. So here we all are together, and it's working out all right. So let me ask you one thing, and then we're going to jump into the trip. Disneyland, because I just went to Disneyland for the first time, and I love it so much. And I just booked my because Disneyland packages for 25 opened up the day we're recording. So I just booked my trip for the half marathon weekend in January. Excited to get back.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about Disneyland? Is there a favorite attraction, show, something about that out there that you would say stands above all?
I think I would say comparing them, I prefer Disney World, but Disneyland has that authenticity. It has that, you'll know that you're back at the base station. And just in terms of some of the landscaping and some of the rides, like I would say the Haunted Mansion, I would say is better there. And I did do, when I last went there in 2008, and we did the Haunted Holiday with the Nightmare Before Christmas theming, and that was fabulous. But then also Pirates, and the fact that you can go into that restaurant, is it called the Blue Bayou? Is it?
It is. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. The fact you can do that, I think those things are really nice. I mean, what I think is quite a bit of a shock after you go to Disney World, because one of the reasons why we always like arriving is you're driving on fairly empty freeway, and you're getting a bit closer, and then suddenly you enter into you get those. Well, are they still purple? I don't know, but those nice purple signs everywhere, and you're in this city, and it's large and it's expansive. But in Disneyland, that's not the case. You're built up in Anaheim, and suddenly, it's there. It's kind of on the corner. So that was a bit of a surprise first time. But no, I'm very keen to go back there.
All right, so let's and that's a great point. Yeah, that both of them have their positives, and that's what I really have discovered is that when I'm at one, it makes me appreciate the other, right? I mean, it's like when I'm at Disneyland, I love, like you said, the authenticity. Like I can feel Walt walk down this main street like he was here. Like that is the fire station where Walt spent time. This is the authentic one.
Yeah.
The Matterhorn, like that's where they developed so much technology that was molded into all these other attractions 10, 20, 30 years down the line. That's the first steel coaster. I can see the history, everything sprang from this place, this ground, and just
you mentioned the Matterhorn, and I'll say this, my daughter was 2008, so B would have been 5, and I took her on the Matterhorn, and I just remember her getting bashed totally, and she was just like crying for the whole time, because that's quite a rough ride. Yeah,
I still cry. I mean, it's an old man scream / cry, because I love it. It's a love-hate relationship. I mean, it's not pretty.
It's surprisingly warm in here.
All right, so let's jump into the Yacht Club trip. So how did this one come together? Because you were down there late January, early February, earlier this year. So how did you guys put this trip together?
Yeah, I think we realized that we hadn't been for quite a few years, but coordinating the whole family, because Miles had just started work and B was at college, and coordinating everybody was a bit tricky. So we thought, why don't we just sneak off, the pair of us? So once we'd sort of reconciled that we're just going to sneak off as the two of us, it was really kind of looking at a time where it was going to be a bit quieter in the parks, and potentially a bit cheaper to get flights and things of that nature. And we looked at a few resorts. I mean, we've been lucky that we stayed in a good range of resorts. And as you do, we've had, as a family, we've had some lovely times in Old Key West. Some really great times in Old Key West, because those suites are so large, and that is great, I think, for a family, and that they can spread out over all of that. But we've most recently gone to the Yacht Club, and for Christmas, and we just thought it was great. It's a great position. It's got lovely, it's got really very nice sort of classy sort of theming, and so it's like, let's do it. And so we told the kids that sorry, we're gonna go in January, and they were fine with it. So yeah.
So with kids that age though, and again, I'm in that same boat that you are, and I think a lot of our listeners are, how was it coordinating, getting everybody prepared and getting the plan shared as far as, did you get input from everybody as far as, making dining reservations and scheduling all the pre-arrival things, or did you just, take the lead and were they cool with, since you've been so many times and you guys know you're going to be in good shape anyway? Did you just kind of schedule everything and say, look, you're in good hands?
Yeah, I think because just about every time we've gone, I am that sort of classic obsessive Disney planner. I've got my Excel, I've got my spreadsheet, I've got my color coding, I've got my different code for evening, morning, where we're eating, and all of that. Make sure that you've got the little code for the Disney dining plan to see that you're using all of that up. So I've always done that. I mean, this time it was just me and Helen, so it was quite straightforward. But they've always kind of gone along with it, yeah. So maybe they did want more input, but they didn't really get it actually.
Okay, so let's talk about, how, real quick though, any and I always ask this if anybody travels from a distance, any tips that you have learned, because you've traveled many times internationally, for folks that are considering traveling internationally for the first time, either because I know a lot of our folks in the Discord over in the clubhouse are talking about going over to Paris, and now because of Faison's trip on Monday, he did a trip report last week about going to Tokyo. People are now talking about making that crazy 18-hour flight over there. What did you have as far as coming over to across the pond? Because you got to consider other things. Does it work out? Is it hard?
I think it's a lot, for me, it's a lot easier going west than to go east, because in some ways it kind of works for you. It kind of works. So going from here to Orlando kind of works because you when you arrive, you just got to make it a long day, stay up as long as you possibly can. And then the next morning, you're awake super early. Yep. But that's great. That's great because you've got your trainers on, you've got your shorts on, and you are ready to hit the parks. So I think, I think just when you get to the West, just stay up as long as you can, and it's normally you're normally basically on Disney time when once you've done that.
Good deal. Yeah. Grigsley and Bellows in the chat over on Facebook says West is the best when you're going that way. Guess you just pay the price later. You just don't worry about that at the time. Exactly. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about Arrival. You guys get there. I mean, excitedly, I'm sure, Arrival into the Yacht Club and getting ready for day one. Tell us about how everything works. Was the room what you were expecting? How was check-in?
The room, I mean, I think everyone's probably got their own technique in order to make sure that you get the room that you want. And I think at first it wasn't quite what I'd expected, and I didn't quite. I think the guest services experience was, it was a couple of people who were training and they were like students or something, and it wasn't quite on point. So I tried to go into my excessively charming but forceful mode. There's like everyone's got different modes, and they may not be successful. But it's kind of like trying to fall on their mercy, but kind of indicating that what they're doing isn't quite working at the moment.
Yes.
So going down that route, we ended up getting the most fabulous room. I mean, could not, but we've never had a better room, and that it was overlooking. It was kind of above. It was above the reception area. So when you looked out of the room, you looked down that sort of, that path that comes to the Yacht Club from the boardwalk. But it was also a corner room, so you had windows wrapping all around. And it was, so you got the balcony looking out to the boardwalk, and you can see the boats and you can see everything. But then you've also got the glass and the shutters along the side. Absolutely. And you walk in and you open those windows and you can hear what's going on outside. And it's absolutely fabulous. Love the Yacht Club.
Okay, so when I go down for Marathon Weekend, we're going to meet. So you can meet me at check-in so I can get a room.
Yeah,
You've got it figured out. I
yeah,
love that. That's awesome because I know the rooms you're talking about. Those are
mm,
sweet rooms. All right, so you
yeah.
arrive there. No, you don't go to a park that first day. It looks like you just kind of catch your, get
Well,
like.
actually, we did. We got in. We probably got in about 6 o'clock, and like, oh, and that's the nice thing about being in the yacht club.
Oh, you went to
We
yeah,
could just we just strolled into World Showcase.
nice.
Strolled to the World Showcase. It was a really lovely warm evening, and we just walked around. We probably had something small to have a little beer probably, and then around at the theater it was Disney on Broadway.
Nice.
Was just and it wasn't wouldn't necessarily say it was my favorite show that I've seen. But hey, you're there, you've arrived, you're sitting in the warm, you've got a beer, and someone's singing, A Whole New World. And so, it's it was great. You think I've arrived, and for the next 8 days, I don't have to think about anything else but being in this Disney bubble.
But see, here's what caught my attention. This is why I thought you didn't go to, and I see that you didn't go to a park in your notes. I just missed that because you had dinner over at Hurricane Hannah's, which I think is perfect for that arrival because you're at Yacht Club, you're coming over from the UK in the winter time, and you're able to enjoy a poolside / like lakeside dinner outside, and just kind of take in that you're in a tropical climate and enjoy like a beverage and a nice meal outdoors and in just a beautiful setting. Like I love it's so laid back. Like that's the most laid back, you don't have to have a reservation. You just walk up. It's just such a chill way to start a vacation. I saw that and I'm like, that is like arrival day dinner at Yacht Club.
No, but no, you're absolutely right, Mike. It was also kind of, pinch me, because by then it was dark, and you could see the lagoon, and you're sitting there, as you say, having like beach food, sitting up at the bar. It's a warm, balmy evening, and it's the end of January. It's the end of January, guys. And so no, you're quite right. That was very, very nice.
Okay, so you get to now you're ready to actually start vacation on the real day one. The college football season we call this week 0. I don't know where somebody came up with that idea, but college football starts at week 0 out, and it gets me all confused. But so that was like day 0 for you guys. Day 1, here we go. You guys hit the parks. Looks like you go to the studio. I love the picture, man. You guys look like getting ready to start the Boston Marathon or something, man. You're ready to go. And what, man, with the Disney vacation, we all know it's about the same thing. You got to be ready. You got to be trained.
You got to be ready for it.
Oh my God. It's not for the week. So tell us about how you get it started. How's things for you?
Well, my preparation was actually back in the UK. I got myself a new pair of trainers. So I got that, because that's the most important thing. So I remember actually the first time we took our son Miles when he was about 2, we made him wear new shoes. The poor lad. I mean, just the most ludicrous parental mistake. If we were in the parental courts, we would be, we would be big trouble because he got such terrible blisters. Mm-hmm. So I got this new pair of trainers. I'm gonna get these trainers right. I'm going to wear them around the house. I'm not stupid. I'm going to wear them around the house. And I was wearing them around the house, but I was walking around the house with a big pile of records, and I was running around trying to do something. I went flying over on a rug, went flying into the wall, and totally trashed my knee. I ended up in A&E. I couldn't walk. And, for a while, I thought I was going to cancel the holiday. But I went into intensive physio. I got every single possible knee brace, ice pack, whatever I could. So I was going to make sure that okay, I've got this little injury, but I'm not going to let it get in my way. So that became part of the holiday, was just strapping up the knee, getting back to the room, slapping on the ice, getting it strapped up again. But so that is something I particularly wouldn't want to repeat. I think it's fair to say.
I see the knee brace, and unfortunately, that's part of my attire some days at the parks too nowadays. Just
Yeah. Well, yeah.
where we are at this point of our lives, man. It's just part of getting.
Yeah, but that's because you're very sporty, Mike.
No, it's because I've used up all my body parts. I think my knees are like the warranty is expired on all the knees and everything, the ankles. So you guys go to the studios. It was a reason you picked the studios for day one.
It was that excitement of Galaxy's Edge. It was the excitement of hearing about Rise of the Resistance, and I purposely not listened or read too much about it because everyone kind of said this is different, it's epic, it's everything. And so because of the jet lag, I was made sure it's quite easy being awake early, but I was still, it was like Christmas morning leading up to 7 o'clock, because you read that you got to refresh the app to get the lightning lane, and my hand was almost shaking, but it was actually quite easy. But I hit it at 7 o'clock, boom, got the lightning lane for Rise of the Resistance or whatever it was, 10 o'clock, which was just sort of perfect for us to get over at rope drop to the studios and be able to also go on Smuggler's Run first to check out all of Galaxy Quest. And it was just, you just kind of like, I'm back in the zone, back in the Disney zone. And it was very, very exciting.
Very cool. And then you're back, you feel like I'm back at Walt Disney World. I'm in a theme park, you
Correct.
walk down Hollywood Boulevard, you see the cast members, you hear the background
music, you walk in through the entrance. I mean, that picture I sent, which is, whatever, but it's just, you're there, and you're not thinking about anything else.
Yeah, that picture, it sums up exactly why we go. I mean, because that picture is me, whether I'm there for like a race weekend and by myself, and I'm never by myself. I'm there with Scott. I'm there with so many other friends that run with us. I'm there with my family. It's just like, I don't have to worry about answering emails. I don't have to worry about the outside world. I can just, I can be in Hollywood, or I can be in the Magic Kingdom in Fantasyland or Adventureland or wherever, and just have fun today. Today's got so many possibilities, but every possibility is fun.
I think also it's the fact that it's not okay. So let's say you're focused on Rise of the Resistance, but in some ways, was that the highlight of that particular morning? And in some ways, that was super exciting. One of the highlights was it got to about 11 o'clock in the morning, and because we were rushing around doing things, hadn't really had anything to drink. It's really quite hot. And then we saw that the Indiana Jones stunt spectacular was, we've seen that God knows how many times, but we just got in right at just as it was about to start. We got a seat right down the front. We're sitting down. We got the stunt spectacular right in front of us, and we got 2 cold Cokes. And that's just a lovely thing, because that's not the reason we weren't there to see the Indiana Jones stunt spectacular, but it's great. You're in the theme park, you're in the studios, you got a cold Coke, you're watching that. It's fantastic. That to my mind sums up, why I like Disney World.
That's exactly it. What I like to think about on vacation is I like to think like it's a Tuesday at 10:15 a.m. right? I should be doing, I should be at home doing my job. But instead, I'm sitting on Soarin' right now. I'm getting ready to have a piece of cheesecake at 10:15 a.m. on a Tuesday. I'll be an hour and 15 minutes from lunch, but I'm having a good time. All right, so talk to us, because we got a lot to get through and not a whole lot of time, which unfortunately,
sorry.
No, this is totally me, because I'm just dying for this trip. But highlights for the rest of the day. I mean, I see you guys went to Olivia's, which I saw that, and that stuck out in my mind, but I don't want to focus totally on everything I enjoy, but give us the highlights for the rest of day one.
I think we always, from when we went as a family, we get into a routine, hit the parks hard in the morning, get to lunchtime, go back, chill, go by the pool, do what you need to, and then come out refreshed in the evening. And for the evening, I had a reservation for Ogre's Cantina, which I was really excited for. But this is another instance of liking the fact that you can just change tack and you can still have a great time. And went into Ogre's Cantina, and it was probably the wrong time of day. It was really quite busy, and we were sitting opposite some people with backpacks on. We weren't. It didn't look like you were in the Star Wars Cantina. So we thought, okay, let's maybe not. So we exited stage left. And instead, we went to, is it called the Baseline Tap Room? Is that what it's called?
Baseline Tap House. And by the way, Scotty G has just joined us over on Twitch, and he's going to be nodding his head right along with you.
Oh, very good. Well, very good, Scott. Very, very good. Yeah, because that was fabulous. That was our sort of place. Just sitting there, bit of people watching, trying a few beers, getting a feel like a meat and cheese platter. Yeah, that was lovely. But that's the thing, is that you decided you're going to do one thing, but maybe that's not the best thing, but there's always lots of other things to do. So I think that in particular was a highlight of day two as well.
I love that. And I think too, so much about a Disney vacation and just life in general, right? Because I'm big into sports and sports psychology, where you can either look at something as an obstacle or an opportunity. And a lot of times with a Disney vacation, there's so many variables. And like you said, Oga's wasn't maybe living up to the expectation that day. Not that it won't the next time you go there. It can be a different vibe. Okay. But the thing is, because of that, you kind of zigged and tried something different. That opened up the opportunity to try Baseline Tap House, and opportunity to try something, and hey, it becomes something that you enjoy, and you might not have done that otherwise.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Very cool. So, okay, let's go to the next day, guys. Animal Kingdom looks like.
Yeah, Animal Kingdom. Absolutely love Animal Kingdom. And there and Pandora. I think Pandora. I won't say that Pandora is the peak of Disney theming. I just think it's just amazing, that realization of that world. And Flights of Passage is fantastic, but that's coming up. And again, it seems I'm just talking about the times when I'm waiting to do things rather than actually when I'm doing the things. But we were just sitting in Starbucks there, having one of those big Mickey cinnamon rolls and a coffee. You get that rush of the sugar and the caffeine, and then you're going to go and hit Flights of Passage, and then on to Kilimanjaro. And then, because we've always really enjoyed the Animation Academy. And it was a shame when that closed in wherever that was in the studios. I can't remember what it was called. But that because we always enjoyed sitting there. But now that's in, I don't know if it's still there. I don't know if there's a special thing, but it was in the Planet Watch.
Yes, it's still there. Nobody knows, but it's back. You got to take the train back to Rafiki's Planet Watch. You get to ride the train. I mean, that's
you get to ride the train. And we got to draw some strange bug from A Bug's Life, but it was great. Yeah, so that was really good fun.
That's awesome. And now, so you went back to Hurricane Hannah's that night, which so must have been
back to Hurricane. Yeah, we're getting the hit from Hurricane Hannah's all the time, and then we had that night was dinner at the Hacienda. The San Angel in Mexico, which was because you're a big fan. You're a big fan of Mexican food, aren't you, Mike?
Always. That's about 90% of my diet. I had a little episode this past week in the hospital. They're asking me about my diet, and I was like, pretty much anything that comes from south of the border. Like, that's not too bad, actually. So anyway, he said best guac ever at San Angel Inn, which I would
amazing. Awesome. Absolutely fabulous. And it's always I love it inside. That's one of the things when the first time you go inside that temple is like, wow. But every time you go back in it, it's still like, wow. I love it, and I love the Three Caballeros ride. Yeah, so
you went to San Angel. Okay, so you went to San Angel inside the pyramid. You didn't go to La Hacienda.
No, I was in the one outside. But but we're also going inside the place. Yeah,
I can make sure we get everybody going to the right.
You've got to
place.
get the details right. Yeah,
make sure everybody gets the right guac because it might be different. I love San Angelo for the atmosphere. I love being in there because it reminds me of Blue Bayou out at Disney.
Yeah, it's very similar, isn't it? Yeah,
like outside inside kind of feel. All right, so you're killing me here because you're not going to Magic Kingdom. Like, if you've noticed,
we get around to that. There was a plan.
I know. We're building to it, but when people do this to me here on the show, it gets me. Like, why are we? Because I'll ask you eventually, but I'm like, why are we not going to the Magic Kingdom? We're going to Epcot the next day. All right, so tell us about Epcot.
Same again. In terms of me sitting there with my Excel, it's like, okay, these are these new big rides. Here's the new big rides. Okay, Epcot, got to do Guardians. And so similarly, got the lightning lane for Guardians. And I think Helen was a bit skeptical. I didn't really tell her what it was. Kind of like, she's okay with a roller coaster as long as it doesn't roll very much and it kind of coasts. But yeah, we on Guardians, that I would say that is the state of the art. That I think I heard you the other day, Mike, saying I didn't know you necessarily said you were one and done with Guardians, but I think you said that two and done. But no, but right from the theming going in, and I thought that was great. That was super fun. I mean, I have seen the films, or I've seen two of the films, but then you get onto the ride, and just the way that moves and rotates, and then the music, and it was just fun, because it wasn't like sometimes you see some of the roller coasters from some, and it's all about, you're just on a steel pole and then you go up here and you fly down, and it's a bit scary.
Yeah,
but this just fun. I mean, exhilarating, but super fun. Yeah. So
I agree with you. I mean, I think it's so well done. I mean, the visuals, the soundtrack, how it varies, they made it fun. It's fast, thrilling. It's just the right amount of thrilling.
Exactly.
It's not too thrilling, but it's right there on the edge, and it's fun. Everybody's laughing at the same. I mean, the whole train's laughing. I mean, it's just right for where it needs to be. It's just my inner ear can't handle it, and it's just how it is. I mean, just some people, this threshold is just, it's
no, I get that. Yeah, I get travel sick on most things, but fortunately, I was able to cope with that one. But that was fabulous, and and then we also and then very pleased to go and Soarin', and that it was the proper Soarin' round California.
Yes,
not that Soaring round that terrible CGI Taj Mahal.
Thank you. I know that it should be soaring over California, the original, and you get to fly over the old future world. With
no, indeed, and you get that smell. You get the smell of the oranges, and you get
elephants. Yeah,
fabulous. Yeah,
so good. All right, so this day you had lunch. It looks like a Regal Eagle, and actually dinner over at City Works to watch little American football.
Yeah, yes, and that was when we looked at it. It's like, oh, hang on, on that Sunday. Oh, it's the that was the divisional games, wasn't it? Have I got the right term?
Oh, yeah. You know what? So I was watching this game at Disneyland because I was with Scott. This was when the Disneyland half was going on, because Scott and I we were riding Big Thunder when this game was going on down to the last play. We were watching it on our phones while we were riding Big Thunder at the last play of this game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it was that was great. That was great fun. It was great because there was great atmosphere. Everyone's in their shirts, apart from two strange English people who are sitting there having bar snacks. But it's just, I mean, it's really, City Works was great. I mean, in terms of all the screens and the beers and the food, that was a fabulous way to see the game.
You should go on up there and be like, can we get a TV on cricket?
I know. Yeah, I think I'd soon have polystyrene cups thrown at me or something.
Probably not a good idea during football season. Down in the south. All right, next. Okay, finally, it looks like Magic Kingdom's finally going to come into play here now that we're at day 5. Okay, so let's go.
Same thing again. Like, okay, what what am I going to? What's the big ride here? Tron. Here's here's the whole plan. I mean, we love love the Magic Kingdom, and it was a bit colder, but a beautiful day. I mean, in fact, I actually in honor of Tron, I did pull out my Tron Legacy soundtrack album just to note that. But I mean, that again is that's kind of one of the things. Is that they're going to do a ride like this, but they don't do anything that's the same. It's all different. The conception is different. The whole sort of size of how that is realized and is fabulous. I think Helen would say that she found that one a tiny bit too much, and that Guardians was good, but it is quite intense. But yeah, we thought Tron was great. But once again, I would recommend that tactic of going for like a lightning lane or at around 10 o'clock, so as you make the best use of that sort of early time when the park is just open and those lines are that much smaller, and then you can just pick off whatever you can see is a good short line. And we picked off Small World and Haunted Mansion before we got to Tron, and then you got to like 10:30 and you've already done three or four great rides. No, but it was lovely. Then on to Pirates, Carousel of Progress. It's a lovely time in the Magic Kingdom.
That's a great tip, though, to strategize, to go, take those more minor things and some of the other major but not top flight things and build them around while you're waiting for Tron and stuff like that. And by the way, I have my Flynn's Arcade little.
Oh, nice, yeah.
The lights.
Oh,
yeah, no, I got to
see that one.
Yeah, this was a little souvenir when it opened down there.
Yeah,
I had to have it because I put way too many quarters in the old arcade machines back in my day. And so, that was my little souvenir from Tron. I love that ride. You see, I can do that one because it is straight away.
Yeah, I don't really know why Helen had a problem. It's fast. But it's quite smooth, isn't it? It's quite smooth, Yeah.
I spent many days on a bicycle, so I think I can handle it.
There you go.
Here's what I like about your notes to this day, though. You really take advantage of seeing the resorts because you're chilling. You're just having Polynesian, went over and got some nachos. Looks like a Captain Cook's possibly. Then you went over and had a little ale and Compass. Then you just spent a little time in World Showcase. I mean, this is the perfect, to me. This is just why you stay at Yacht Club and why you're at Walt Disney World, just enjoying the atmosphere. Just dropping in on a couple of rides, enjoying some of the resorts.
I think, I do think Yacht Club is a great place for that, to do that sort of thing of just like whizzing around and just dropping in on things. And in some ways, I guess because we have stayed, we've stayed at the Poly before, we know, those nachos are great. But it's the fact, I think in some ways, because when I talk to some people about Disney World in the UK, there are those people who are big fans. But those people who aren't fans, they're a bit confused, and they're like, "Oh, is it all sort of just roller coasters and Mickey Mouse?" And it's like, no, because in some ways, the things, I mean, I've talked about Tron and Guardians and Flights of Passage, and those things are great, but that doesn't make it. It's everything else. It's the whole city. It's the whole town. It's the whole variety, and the fact that you can drop in on the resorts, and those resorts are all interesting and engaging and have different food, and then you can just mix it up throughout the day.
I think we still have that same I don't think that's a UK thing. I think I have that with my perception of folks in my world that are here in the States. They think Walt Disney World is Six Flags, which is a regional amusement.
No, indeed. Yeah.
They think it's just, thrill rides, and it's not. I could go down to Walt Disney World, and I do over the race weekends, and I'll maybe go on 2 or 3 attractions over 5 or 6 days, but I'll spend a lot of time at the resorts having good snacks and
love it.
Seeing shows, and those are the best trips. I don't have to.
Oh, absolutely.
I have to do rides and have the best trip ever.
We love it. I mean, that's one thing I think I think we found going this time, sort of going as like empty nesters, is that also we can just take time and we can just sit on a bench for a bit. And we
Absolutely.
just sit on a bench, have a cup of coffee, just do a bit of people watching. Say, oh, look at those guys, look at those guys' shorts, and oh, look at that over there, and and just enjoy being there. And we also found as well that you can just strike up a conversation with anyone in that sort of, well, once you've kind of slowed down a bit and you're not doing that sort of Uber running to get onto the next ride. You're just sitting on a bench. You end up talking to all sorts of people, and that's a really nice aspect for us of being in that Disney bubble.
That's so well said. But I think you do have to pass through kind of all the phases of your Disney fandom, right? You have to have those first few trips where you go hardcore and do everything and can't slow down, because you would feel remorseful if you go home and you didn't do a lot. But once you get to where you've had the opportunity to do most everything, maybe multiple times, you don't feel so have that FOMO when you get back that, oh, we didn't get to do Jungle Cruise this trip, or we didn't get to do Aladdin's, the magic carpets of Aladdin. So it's okay. We sat on a bench and that was the best time we ever had. And so it's kind of like life, right? It's you move through different phases, and it's okay. It changes.
You're quite right in some ways. Yeah, the ability to do that is because you're banking on having done those things before. You've already got that in the bank. And you can do that, but no, you're going to do that. No, I think you're quite right, mate. You're quite right.
All right. So one other thing I want to ask you about, because this was your time back in Epcot, what did you think personally about the changes to the old Future World, to how because you said you spent some time with the Walt statue, the new statue there. What would you think about those changes?
I think before in the evening, I don't recall ever going to Future World in the evening before, because you just go to the World Showcase, and so didn't really bother with Future World once it got dark. So I thought the lights on Spaceship Earth, I thought they look great. The lights around the whole of the park, I think, certainly at night. And then walking and the World of Water, is it called the World of Water? If not, it's called something like that. I thought that was great. That was fun. That looked really nice at night. Yeah, and then finding the Walt statue in the dark was also good. I thought that was a big improvement on what it was. I think there are some aspects of Future World. You think, why are some of those buildings empty? Because you used to have some pretty cool things in there. And like, what, why did you make the choice to not have that anymore? I mean, so yeah, I mean, I'm not wholly an old school person, but Universe of Energy. I remember the first time I went in Universe of Energy, and that was before it was the Bill Nye the Science Guy one with Ellen.
Yes.
It was a big sort of thing about. It was some oil company, wasn't it? I can't remember what it was. It Exxon? I don't know what.
It was Exxon, I believe.
Yeah. And it was a fairly sort of dry thing about oil, and it's like, okay, well, but hey, the air conditioning's on, and then suddenly you part and you start moving through into dinosaurs. It's like, blimey, why don't you have that anymore? But anyway, but that wasn't your question. The question was about the improvements, and I like them. I thought they're good.
That's it. Yeah, it is. I'm right with you though, because I do miss things like interventions, and I know that it's really hard in today's day and age society's changed from 1980, to have technology and try to stay cutting edge and share, because companies are not going to want to share anything that it's corporate sabotage to have anything out there that is forward looking.
Yeah.
Is it would just be sabotaging their own future looking business. They would not put IP out there for what they're looking forward to, but like just the educational stuff, like Where's the Fire and the Great Piggy Bank Adventure, like it was educational, but we did it every time. As goofy as that stuff was,
Yeah,
growing up, we always went in there, and it was
yeah,
sponsored by some big bank or some, insurance company. We had the best time.
yeah,
I think it is kind of missing a little bit of that.
yeah, yeah. No, I think so. I think so.
I liked it, but it's beautiful, and it's things change, and I'm enjoying what we have, and that's
Yeah,
where we are. So I'll make sure, because we got a few more things. We'll get this in
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
There, but the next day, one of the things you highlighted was that you guys got to have a meal at Topolino's.
yeah, yeah.
I've been there. I haven't done the character breakfast, but did you guys have dinner there, or?
Yeah, yeah, we had dinner there. And once again, it comes back to the Excel spreadsheet. And well, I love the dining plan. I love the dining plan because I do not want to go on vacation and be thinking about how much it's costing me. I want it to be a sunk cost. Okay,
I
I've,
am.
I've breathed in. I've done the thing. I've paid for it. That's in the past. I'm going to move on, and I'm now going to enjoy my vacation. And fortunately, as well, because of the packages you got in the UK, you get the Disney dining plan, and then there was some credits that came in on top, and then you also got a merchandise credit. So it was all sunk cost. So that's great. But then in terms of managing your Excel spreadsheet, wanted to go to a couple of 2 credits. And so particularly wanted to try Topolino's. I think I heard someone saying, oh, it was the top reservation to get, and so that's the challenge. I've got to try and get that top reservation. And it was going to the Riviera, and it was going there on the Skyliner, which was just, I love the Skyliner, by the way. Yeah, that's a huge improvement. It's just one of those that I think is a really clever improvement by Disney, because it's not like spending money on a big new ride. It's something that's going into the transportation and infrastructure, but making it different and
Yes.
making it fun and giving people those additional. When you're in that Disney bubble, you think, how do I get here? I got the boat, I can do this, and I got that, and I got the Skyliner. It uses that part of your Disney brain. So anyway, going over there from Epcot on the Skyliner to the Riviera was lovely, and the Riviera is very, very nice. And Topolino's, I thought, was a fine dinner. Fine dinner. And you open the menu and it's our speciality. And that's the thing about the dining plan, because you wouldn't be having that filet mignon.
Nope.
I mean, it's got like a telephone number attached to it.
That's
It's sunk cost. So you got to have that. And it was fabulous. Yeah. No, very, very nice.
And the way you describe, we are so alike, because the reason I like cruising, it's the same way, right? You pay for everything up front, like your dining paid for, and that's why I enjoy dining on a cruise line. Like they give you the menu, you order what you want. You want to get 2 desserts, you get 2 desserts. It's great. You don't worry about it. And same thing with Disney dining plan. I mean, you can't get 2 desserts or anything, but it's prepaid. You don't have to worry about. You just order what you want. You get it. It's all taken care of, and I enjoy that.
I love it, and I must admit, I do, well, like Scott, I do enjoy having a beer, having a cocktail with my dinner, and and the fact now that that's all packaged in as well, from my point of view, is great. Yeah,
and the Skyliner, you just made a comparison that I've never really thought about, but maybe the Skyliner is, the monorail was maybe the 1970s, 1980s kind of novelty transportation, but maybe the Skyliner is like the 20 teens version of the monorail. It's an efficient kind of green type transportation system that's novel to. It's not novel to Disney, but they've kind of tried to make it novel to them. But I mean, there's a lot of places in the world that use that system.
But it's still, I think the last time back in 2018, they were building it, and I was kind of like, oh, that seems like a strange thing to do. But I think it's really clever.
It works. All right, so let's kind of a couple more days there, day 7, 8, 9. Give us a couple highlights from those days as the trip kind of wrapped up. You've been to all the parks, but you're kind of going back and seeing some of the favorites possibly.
That's the drop in and get some favorites. So 3 things. Three things. There's 3, isn't it? That's just like some film. You say 3 things, and you hold up 4 fingers. But 3 things. firstly, Expedition Everest. Expedition Everest, that probably, you know, for a number of years has been my favorite ride. It's the best ride in the world. You know, it is proven to be the best ride in the world. Theming, the exhilaration, the excitement. But because of my bad knee that I was annoying everybody, and particularly annoying Helen by complaining about it and icing up all the time, I thought, and Helen didn't want to do it. So I went in the single rider line and I got to the front and I thought, I'm going to try that thing of, you know, smiling sweetly and, you know, etc. But saying, because of my knee, could I please sit at the front of the car? And I actually just meant at the front of the four, because otherwise the knee would be banging against the thing. But she was really cross with me and saying, you know, you're not supposed to do this. You come down the single, you're supposed to go exactly where you're told to go. But whatever, they put me right at the front of the whole train.
Nice.
I had the whole front seat there, and so that was fabulous. So that was number one. Number two, kind of we planned as a final hurrah was going to the Disney After Hours event at Magic Kingdom on our very last night there, but that didn't start till 10 o'clock. So we thought, okay, when we've been to the Poly a couple of days before, we thought, oh, hang on, this Trader Sam's, Trader Sam's. Let's see if we can go there. Couldn't get in there, too busy, etc. But on the terrace, they said, but you can sit on the terrace, and it was fireworks time, and so you're sitting there, and I was having a cocktail in this thing, and the fireworks are going off over the Magic Kingdom. Fabulous. I mean,
it's not a bad trade-off. I mean, you're not inside Sam's proper, but I mean, fireworks Magic Kingdom with a cocktail and that nice Trader Sam's mug. For everybody that's listening to the audio show, he's got the Trader Sam's mug in his hand. Pretty good deal.
Nah, it's magic. So then getting the boat over from the Poly to the Magic Kingdom in order to then do the after hours thing, which I think, because we'd not necessarily hit everything we wanted to do in the Magic Kingdom, and so then we've got 4 hours to just hit everything as many times as we like. So we ran around. This is when we weren't sitting on a bench. We weren't chatting to people. We were back into being that sort of hardcore early stage, if you like, Disney person, hitting every single ride. But it was super, super good fun to actually close the end of the holiday. We were there closing down the park with a final sort of dinner in Casey's at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yes,
it was a lovely way to end a fantastic trip.
I've always said this to Scott, and I totally have this philosophy or this theory that at the end of a trip, you know, you're at the end of your trip, especially at the Magic Kingdom at night, right before closing, you get this as a Disney fan, you get this adrenaline rush. Like you guys had this after hours event. You become superhuman running around to see how many attractions you can get in, whether it's like, okay, the fireworks just ended and now I have 90 minutes till the park closes, or 2 hours, whatever it is. You have a finite amount of time. You're just, it's like a personal challenge in your head as a Disney fan. Like, okay, we are going to go hard right now, and we're going to, but those times I look back on extra magic hours I used to have, 10 years ago at the Magic Kingdom. They'd be open until 3 a.m. and we would have the best time at like 1 o'clock in the morning, just going on It's a Small World and going across the way to Peter Pan and then Winnie the Pooh. It didn't matter what attraction you were on, as long as you were on something, you were laughing, you were having the best time ever.
It makes amazing memories. And I know also with Miles and B, when we went at Christmas, we were in the Animal Kingdom at midnight on Christmas Day, and we were running to get onto the last, I think it must have been like 5 to midnight, and we ran. There was nobody in the park, and we ran to get on Dinosaur at 5 to midnight on Christmas Day. And it's that, that's a real memory of such fun. And the cast members, there was nobody there. They were saying, come on, you can just make it. Oh, it's great fun. Yeah.
So then it looks like the last day you had a little walk around World Showcase and grabbed one more little lunch there at Hurricane Hannah's because
Gotta
you're
do it, yeah.
when in Rome, have Hurricane Hannah's. You
Yeah.
got a selfie with was Donald there at Yacht Club?
He was. Donald was there, so I think he had personally gone there in order to say goodbye to me, which I appreciated.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, no, so I wiped away a little tear.
Well, and then I appreciate that you sent a picture of Ralph who was waiting for you back home. You're good boy there. So make sure you tell Ralph regards from the Be Our Guest podcast crew because he is a good boy for sure.
I will absolutely. He'll be very, very pleased to hear that. He needs to be told that he's a good boy on a regular basis. So that's good news.
He's such a cutie. Okay, but real quick as we wrap this show, and it's been wonderful. You have such amazing passion for Disney, such great. This has been just an hour that has gone by in 5 minutes, and I've made a friend over in the UK today, and I love that about this podcast. Every week I get to make new friends, and truly the case today. But just give us just a quick, like one more memory from this trip that you had with your wife, or just something you'll always remember from this specific trip. Was there anything that kind of one more thing that sticks out?
I think, unfortunately, I'm going to come. Yeah, I am going to. Yeah, there's one more memory that sticks out, and it is coming back to just sitting in the yacht club. And the thing is, I have just talked about some running around, so that's good. But I'm talking about classic moments where I'm actually not doing anything. But it's just that thing of just sitting and taking it in and sitting there on the balcony, looking out over the boardwalk, over what's going on in the lagoon, the ships. You can see the people coming off the boat. They're walking back. They got their shopping bags. They got something. Someone's trying to run to catch up with somebody, and it's just that world is just such a nice, happy, and relaxing world to be in, and it makes you think. Like sitting here now, I'm thinking, God, yeah, I need to get back there. So that I think is, that I think is that sort of Disney bubble. It's that wrapper.
Yeah, that's happening right now as we're sitting here talking. Somebody's getting off that boat at Yacht Club with their with their souvenir mug from Trader Sam's, or they have a cinnamon roll from Starbucks at Animal Kingdom in the
I could so do that. Yeah,
you're doing better than we are, buddy. I'm telling you, Tim. What are we doing? Something's wrong. We're both in the
Tell me.
Something's wrong. Wait, what a great show. I mean, this is going to put so many smiles on faces as people drive down the roads or in the subway, walking the dog today, doing the dishes, whatever we're doing. But great to meet a friend over in the UK, and thanks for taking this hour in the middle of your day here on a Tuesday or on a Wednesday night for you over in the UK. But we'll have to do this again, so don't be a stranger. We'll have to.
My pleasure, Mike. Absolutely, and I've said it before, and I say it again. You are a legend. So to be speaking to the legend that is Mike Rahman is a huge honor.
Oh my gosh, no, my dad is the legend. I'm just the guy here, and just trying to share the passion of Disney. And you
do it very well.
I appreciate that so much. All right, don't forget. Thank you so much. All right, don't forget our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you get to your favorite Disney destination, whether it's Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney. Don't forget Disneyland 2025. We can finally book that. I know Disneyland almost waited till 2025 to open those packages, but they are now available. So if you're ready to go, we are ready to help you get there. So just swing by themagicforless.com today, mention the show, and I'll be getting that quote form. We'll take care of you from there. No cost to you as well. So again, themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys keep us on the air, and we appreciate that so much. It's just $5 a month, and it supports everything we do with the video, the audio hosting, the bandwidth, and you get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest, just some fun talk outside of Disney, but Disney always intersects everything in my life, and a lot of times it gets into that show too. So coming over this week, patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Give me a follow on social media. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. And of course, join us in the Clubhouse. That's where we talk Disney 24/7. Over 1,100 of our listeners are in there talking Disney and all kinds of stuff all the time. We have a fantasy football league going on in there now. We have live trip reports happening in there. We have listener questions basically that happen on the hour, just hourly, people asking questions and giving advice. If you have anything you want to connect with friends that are Disney, passionate Disney fans, that's where to be. So come on over, beourguestpodcast.com facebook.com/clubhouse. It's like a live chat and message boards combined into one. And don't forget, Sunday night, Scotty G, of course, joins me and we take your calls. It's the BOGP open line, otherwise known as You, Me, and Scotty G. So join us Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, all the places, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Pick your place. We'll be there, and hopefully you will be too. All right, we're going to get out of here and wish you a great Monday and an awesome week. Get out there and make somebody's week this week. Let's do something special and make somebody smile today here on a Monday, because you guys always make me smile when you come back to listen to our shows. All right, so for Tim over in the UK, I'm Mike here in Missouri, wishing you a great week. Whatever you do, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. That was awesome, Tim. You are great at this. You should do this you should have a show.
You're too kind, Mike.
You got the set. You just need a show.
Yeah, the thing is, obviously, you guys are passionate about it, and you talk about it, and you find such interesting ways to talk about it as well. The fact that you've done 2,500 shows and you keep finding interesting angles, and I guess that's kind of the point, is that it's a subject that you like and love, and so you're happy in some ways to talk about the same things again and again, but also finding different angles in order to talk about it. Like, I think my wife in particular, Helen, was particularly saying she loves your Olympics show, and those sort of finding those Olympic challenges that
Wait till she hears tomorrow's show. Wait till she hears Friday's show, because I was 2 hours off anesthesia when we recorded that one, and it's called the Disney Theme Park Stock Watch, where we either buy stock or sell stock in Disney experiences.
I love it.
And so I found these sound effects. So stock up, stock down.
What fun.
Helen might enjoy that one. We'll see. Yeah. But I was just coming off anesthesia when we're recording it, so it's a doozy.
Well, aren't you supposed to be resting? Are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good.
Good luck with the recovery, Mike, and make sure you look after yourself.
I'm doing okay. I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good. No, this is not hard. This is just me being me. I'm totally fine. No, but hey, it's so great to meet you. Don't be a stranger, and give Ralph a pat on the head for me, and tell Helen I said hello, and I appreciate her listening. And I will tell my wife what you said about when you listen. She will crack up tonight at dinner.
Yeah, every night. You are that guy.
All right, Tim, don't be a stranger, buddy. I can't wait to meet you in person.
Thanks, Mike. Cheers.
Really nice to meet you. Take care.
Bye-bye. Fun. Thanks. Bye.
Right, bye-bye. See you, everybody. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.